you, everyone. Welcome to our Brown Bag Lunch Lecture Series. Today, we're going to do something slightly different. Instead of having a speaker behind the podium, we're going to do kind of a question and answer, very informal with Chris Cockrell, which you guys, if you showed up, you read it. Very, very happy Chris got to come out and talk to us.
No relation that I know of.
No relation. That's fine. I was going to address that. I am Daniel Cockrell. It's spelled exactly the same. And that's part of what I wrote in my intro here. So
Do we need to do a DNA test?
you know what? Probably. I don't know. So I know Chris through mutual friends and acquaintances. We actually this last go around in the last 2 or 3 years, we were both commenting on a mutual Facebook friend, and Chris says, "Cousin Daniel," and I was like, "I don't know, man. You already got a cousin named Daniel? Maybe." And we started chatting a little bit. So how I know Chris, first of all, he was in 1993, there were 2 people named Cockrell at University of Central Arkansas, and it was that guy and me. We never met, but I saw his name on things. And I was like, what? Wow, I wonder if this guy's kin to me. Skip ahead 20 years, because he leaves UCA at that point and goes and does something else.
I moved to Haiti, actually.
Moved to Haiti. We're going to talk about that hopefully here.
Okay.
So we are Facebook friends, and that kind of got us into this conversation and listen to stories about this amazing kind of journey that he's had working with some cool people. And I asked him late one night, and he agreed to come and share some of his stories with us. And I don't want to blow what that's about yet. So I know, man, Chris, he's a man of many talents and passions. Today, I want to get Chris to share some of his stories about his travels, about his jobs, about the people he's worked with, including working with some people you might know. Hint, hint, right? So if you don't mind, I'm going to get started. I've got some rough questions, and these, if he decides to go another way, we'll change it. And I want each one of y'all to think about things, follow up. Is it okay if they interrupt us? If you're talking about
Absolutely. Ask me anything.
Yeah. So very informal. We're going to take our time here and enjoy this. So I want to start off with who is Chris, right? Like, I'm not the existential, who are you? What makes you? Where should we start? So where did you grow up, Chris?
Heber Springs.
Heber Springs. Went to high school there, I guess?
Yeah.
So
K through 12.
what did you want to be when you grew up? It's a hard question. I asked that in interviews, right? That's even more complicated knowing what I know about you.
Yeah, chemical engineer, doctor.
Right on. Just normal guy things, right?
Well, just stuff. You're growing up. You don't know what you're going to do.
All right.
And then you end up places you never think you would have ended up in.
Which brings you here to the Old State House Museum today. What comes next? What after high school? Where did you get?
High school, went to UCA, honors college. I was a microbiologist on the weekends. Then I went on to respiratory, and then I was an anesthesiologist assistant. Then I ended up co-producing an album for Eric Freeman.
Yeah, because those things pair well. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a classically trained trombonist.
Absolutely.
So I've been a musician.
One of your talents and passions.
That's just one of the things that I've always done all through.
Sure.
And that ended up in a job.
Right on. So you went to school for a while, and then you did something else. What did you do next?
I moved to Haiti.
Just moved to Haiti. Had a goal. Like what?
Well, I was taking a class in the honors college called On Poverty, and I was thinking about the unfairness that I had it so easy and other people had it so hard. So I moved to Haiti for a year to do developmental work.
Wow.
Mostly freshwater projects and medical.
Okay. That seems to me that might change one's perspective somewhat to move to a place in
we don't have any kids in the room, do we?
No.
Okay. That place will knock your dick in the dirt.
Right. And still today, Chris and I have talked about Haiti and things, and he's
it's
like,
a rough country.
Clean water. Like, it's basic, kind of a hierarchy of needs kind of thing where things we take for granted, right?
Things we totally take for granted here.
Yeah.
Clean water, food, And I mean, I lived without electricity or water for a year
That's
in a cinder block house, but I had a tin roof.
hey, it keeps you dry, right?
No, it's my own decision. I used to teach church camp, and I knew some people that worked for the World Christian Relief Fund, and they needed somebody, so I went.
Okay, so you went to Haiti for a year. What's next?
That's not the first time.
That's true.
It was the first time.
It was the first time. It wasn't the last time.
Yeah, but I lived there again,
Um,
and I ran a school and taught journalism.
okay. So in the back of your mind this whole time, you still know that you're a music guy, right? Or you
Yeah.
decided to
No,
never left
always
music
been a musician.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually I took a 6th string.
Yeah.
Yeah, brass doesn't travel well there.
Okay, so what comes next in this story as we're getting to some?
Well, I co-produced the album with Eric Freeman while I was working at Children's Hospital as an anesthesiologist, and we hired another trombonist who happened to be chief engineer at a studio. And I asked him, "Hey, you guys need any help around here?" And it was political season. He was like, "Oh man, do it. Can you do this stuff?" I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, I became an engineer.
Okay, so that puts your name on some things commercially too, though. It might, it gave you a little bit of a resume in producing and engineering at that point.
Yeah, the album actually turned out really well, and I've listened to it recently, and it still holds up. So,
what was the name of that album?
Summer in the Southland. And actually, Eric was going by the name Eric America.
That's good.
That was 1997, I think. Yeah, so that's how I got my start in the music business.
All right.
In a church.
In Little Rock?
Yeah. It was an Episcopal church that we rented. And we literally recorded 24 hours straight. And Eric flew in the band members from New York. And it was grueling.
Oh, yeah. 24 hours worth of work? Like
24 hours straight.
Yeah. So that's the difference than 8-hour shifts.
Yeah. It's not like the regular studio business. But yeah, that was a killer project. And then we actually recorded for about a year and a half after that, just retracking, spicing things up, and other stuff.
Sure.
So it was a long project.
So what do you want to take us next in that journey? Like we're up about what, 97, 96, 97?
Okay, so then I took a job as second engineer at the Works. Jeff moved on to Axiom, so I became chief engineer. And then I went to work for a film company, Waymack and Crew. Everybody knows Dan Waymack.
They work for us.
Yeah. And so I got let go because they couldn't make payroll. So I went freelance and started writing commercial music. And then I got hired away to Studio Center in Memphis.
Oh, I think we know where this is going, right?
Yeah.
And so just for their benefit, about when was that? About around about a year when you went to work in Memphis.
Oh my gosh. Mom, help me out. What year was that?
It's in the early 2000s. Am I?
Yeah.
It's in the early 2000s.
Right.
That's all I could find when I did the research. So, Chris is about like me as far as timestamps on Facebook.
Yeah.
In 2011, he said he lived in 3 countries because like, I just figured out you could add these this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so you move over there, and
So I moved. So actually, I go to the interview in Memphis, and so my boss Sheldon um, was like, well, my future boss Sheldon was like, you can come by for the interview, but I've got this client that just comes in whenever he wants to, and I have to take care of him. So you might have to hang out for a little bit. I was like, that's fine. It was Isaac Hayes.
oh well.
Yeah. So, and of course, I'm like a prog rock fan. I don't know anything about soul.
Right.
So I'm like, oh man, you're hilarious on South Park. And he was like, thanks, man. So that's how I got to know Isaac. So I started working there, and we worked on South Park for like 4.5 years.
Wow.
I guess. Then I had plans to move to Los Angeles, but Isaac was like, hey, I need a manager. I'm like, Isaac, I push buttons and make stuff sound cool. I don't know anything about managing. He's like, yeah, but you're smart and I can trust you. And when Black Moses says that to you, you say, yeah. He was kind of a Scientologist. That's not why he quit South Park. He didn't quit South Park. His PR people quit South Park for him when he had a small stroke. Yeah, so the press is totally wrong on that.
They just picked up a story that sounded like a big ground.
Well, the PR people did it, and once your PR people do stuff, you can't take it back. But I talked to Matt and Trey and told them, I was like, that's not what really happened. And they were like, is Isaac okay? And I was like, yeah, he is. So.
They didn't believe it dropped blood and like, leave them off.
That episode was. That episode was pretty rough.
Right.
But that wasn't Matt and Trey directing that at Isaac. That was just them being funny.
Yeah, just taking it over the top. That was
that's kind of what they do.
That is what they.
I mean,
if it's absurd, let's go even farther.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And believe it or not, Matt and Trey are absolutely like normal dudes. For the stuff that comes out of their head, right. It's just like, what?
I get to the point they kind of feed off each other and feed off that next crazy. Let's be crazier than we were last time.
Yeah, I've still not seen Book of Mormon yet.
So.
Well, Isaac didn't watch that. In fact, he never watched any episode of South Park. Hello, children.
Yeah.
How about little crackers doing today?
Yeah. Okay. So we jumped to the South Park bit. I like that. Thank you. Crowds. You taught us how you met Isaac. That was cool. That was one of my questions. And you worked with him on South Park and project with him in that.
Yeah, we did one song together for like a kids show, but it never went anywhere.
Sure. Which is a part of the music business people don't know about.
Yeah. I mean,
you do a lot of stuff that never gets any ground, never goes anywhere, right?
You work on a lot of stuff in the studio that, it might go big, it might flop.
Sure. So before we move on with, he just asked you to manage, anybody else notable that you worked with in that early period over in the works that we would know?
I worked with Al Green.
An Arkansan, right? Did you know him before then, or because you weren't a soul fan?
No, we did a Gap commercial together. Put a Little Love in Your Heart. What was the song?
Right?
Yeah. He's a weird dude.
Well, eccentric is the word we like to use when we're talking about famous entertainers.
On him, I'm going with weird.
Okay, right on, man. Fair enough. I didn't work with a man, right? You know, he's still alive, so he could come over and look us up.
I wouldn't want to piss him off.
No, that's again. So we'll move on.
But he mostly just sat out in his Ford F-150 in the parking lot. We had a green room with great coffee and everything. He'd just sit out in his truck, talk to himself. I got an argument with Morgan Freeman.
Interesting. What does somebody argue with God about?
Well,
no, we got to hear this story, don't we?
Well, we were doing a Discovery Channel special on Ramses.
Right.
He narrator, of course, because I'm a voiceover director too. So he booked me out all day. And so what's the possessive of if I have staff? My name's Chris. It would be
Chris's staff, right?
Right.
Sure.
What if your name's Ramses?
It would be just Ramsey's staff, not Ramses's, right? Is that your argument?
That was our problem. And he threw his pen down on the music stand and was like, "You can't say that." And I was like, "Morgan, it's my goddamn studio. I can say whatever I want to." He just smiled and went, "You're right." And I was like, "Let's just take it both ways and let the producers figure it out." So,
see, that's why you get paid right there. That's a good decision, I think.
Yeah, he liked me after that. we done a couple of gigs together before.
You're the only one in the room that said they got in an argument with Morgan Freeman, so that's part of why you're here. All right, so there's that point. Then let's go back to, you said that Isaac said, "Man, I want you to manage me," and you told him no at first, ish.
Well, I kind of argued with him a little bit about it.
Right?
Yeah, but he was like, "No, needed to do it." And I was like, we were friends by that point.
Yeah, you said, you told me earlier that you'd worked with
No,
him
I even took a pay cut
to do that.
to do that.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
So where did he go from there?
We went around the world together.
Wow.
We played. All of Europe, Athens, Thessaloniki, Istanbul. Yeah, the only thing we didn't go to is we didn't go to Japan.
Okay. So
and that was because the exchange rate at the time was not. It just didn't make financial sense. It would have been a wash.
Sure. That it comes down to it, and you've told me it's like when it comes down to it, man, this is a business. It was about
It is a business, but it was a business between friends.
Sure. So people know Isaac Hayes. He's been famous for some time, and by the 2000s, when you were touring with him, pretty widely known and accepted throughout Europe. And this is the man that wrote Chef, right?
Right.
And
a lot of other good stuff.
Really good.
Here's a good story.
All right.
So we're doing a gig in France, and I always did all my stuff, and then my last check would be go to Isaac's green room and say, "You ready to go on, boss?" And he was like, "Yeah, but put Soul Man in the list right here." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "The band knows it. We're cool. Just put it in there." I was like, "Okay, man." So we're in the limo ride back to the hotel, and I'm like, "Isaac, when did we start doing cover tunes?"
Cover tunes.
Cover tunes. Yeah. Cover tunes. And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "I wrote that." And I was like, "You wrote Soul Man? How do I not know that?" That was it was pretty amusing to both of us, actually.
I bet.
He was like, how do you not know that? And I'm like, how do I not know that?
That's right.
Yes, David Porter.
But he's got a writing,
Yeah.
like a lot of those really, yeah.
Yeah, here's another funny moment. So like I said, Isaac used to ask me to do all these stuff, like go to movie premieres, and I was just like, oh God, what now? And so he asked me to go to the Blues Ball in Memphis. And the night before, pretty much every building in downtown Memphis had burned. And of course, me being an idiot, I run towards it with my camera, and it was cold, and I totally trashed my knees. So I go to the Blues Ball, and I'm on a cane. And so I go to Isaac's table, finally get there after doing all the BS, and there's somebody already sitting there. I'm like, hey, I'm Chris Cockrell. And he's like, hey, I'm David Porter. I had no idea who David Porter was. So we're just hanging out and having supper. He was a staff writer for Stax.
Okay.
And he and Isaac were, they wrote a lot of stuff together. So I mean, I didn't know who David Porter was either. I think he's still kicking. I watched a show on Netflix the other day, and it said that the music writer was David Porter, and I was like, "Is that the David Porter I know?" I was like, "It's got to be the David Porter."
Like commercial music, right?
Well, it was for Breaking Bad, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. So
yeah.
That's it.
Which that's a weird show.
Yeah. All right. So you travel the world with Isaac Hayes, which is cool, just to be able to say that you did.
Yeah.
So there's moments that stick out. I know I've heard some of them, read some of them. So what? I want to hear more about things like that. Some strange, some funny, some beautiful. Just what that, like the one in France. That's cool. Funny's good. We like laughing, but also, man, if you those awe moments where you're like, wow, you found us. So start thinking about these, and I'm going to keep plucking at strings till I find something you want to talk about.
Well, I think my work in Haiti was pretty significant.
I bet. Is that you obviously carry that with you when you go to work for Isaac Hayes? You're already this guy that had done years of work with impoverished people in Haiti. You ever talk to him about that? I'm curious.
We didn't really talk about that a lot.
Did he know you had done that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, we talked about going to Ghana together, because that's his ancestry.
Okay.
And he had a school over there, but he passed away. So.
Oh, before that got to happen.
Yeah, we never did that.
When you mean he had a school there, it's something that he helped fund, or?
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just a charitable cause. He was a good guy.
Yeah. You speak very highly of him when you write.
Yeah. I mean, there's the public image of who Isaac Hayes was.
Yeah.
And it's legendary, but it's also a little absurd.
Absurd, yes, what he said.
Yeah, but because he was a very kind man, he was a good boss, and everybody thinks about the music business like, oh, it's all hookers and blow. Like, no, the man didn't drink, no drugs, nothing.
Wow. And kind of against that image, like you said, the image of the superstar, the soul superstar, is that they're that character on stage. That's who they are all the time.
Now,
a lot of times that's not the case. Right?
Now, he did have 14 kids.
Right.
14 kids.
You said he was a very loving man.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
We said, you had to be this kid, not knowing.
He's got them all over the place. Yeah. So in the 70s, I would say Isaac's weakness was women.
So when you were traveling, you guys ever pair up with another group or another band or another person and travel like somebody else that you may have spent a lot of time with? Is what I'm fishing for there.
Gotcha. I'll tell you this: screw Peebo Bryson.
Really? Just just not a good person to deal with, eh?
Well, we had a double bill,
Right?
and our plane got delayed, and we were supposed to be top bill,
Okay.
but we were late, so he took top bill,
Right?
and I had to go to Isaac and say, I can either fight this, or we can go to bed early. He's like, let's go to bed early. We'll play first.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, another command.
But his manager, Peebo's manager, was an asshole. He had the whole staff just scared to bits. So I come in saying, yeah, we're top bill. And they're like, we're not going to change the stage. And I was like, oh, God. So that was a frustrating moment.
Sure.
How did y'all travel generally? I mean, bus, plane?
Mostly planes, because the band was from Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, so we'd all kind of meet up, kind of thing. Now, when we did Europe, we had really amazing buses, like double deckers with home theaters, slept 14. I mean, in fact, we had Amy Winehouse's bus.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they even left her tour book on the bus. This is before she passed away. Or killed herself, however you want to look at it.
Sure. So, how do the fans react? Like, you ever have any stories about people going nuts in the hotel lobby or having to do anything? You know, I'm just.
One that stands out is I even forget where we were playing, but we're getting in the limo, and this man and woman come up, and the woman is shaking and just wants him to sign an album.
Sure.
And Isaac was so magnanimous. I mean, he was like, "It's okay, baby. I'll sign your album." But yeah, she was having a moment.
That's cool. And he
Well, I mean, he must have been some kind of musical hero to her or something.
Right.
So she was, in star shock, and we're both like, "It's cool.
just calm down, right?
Yeah,
Breathe.
yeah. Please don't cry." There you go.
Yeah, it was extravagantly. Yeah.
No, not at all. No. I mean, he had a good studio in his house and a gym. No, yeah. That's a great car. So at one time, I guess he did live extravagantly, but when I worked with him, no. Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny in the museum when you go past it, it like triggers his voice.
Oh.
But yeah, it actually had a CRT screen in it, a TV.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a big deal.
It really was.
Now, here's a funny story about him. Sometimes because of scheduling, he'd either work with my boss or me. He usually worked with me, but I was booked. But he came in and threw a DAT tape at me, digital audio tape, which you have to run in real time. And so I started it, and I was like, damn, that is the longest intro ever. And it was Shaft.
Oh, wow.
And I went into Sheldon's studio because I was done with my gig. And I said, Isaac, I don't know what this is, but you need to cut that intro down. And my boss was like, oh, God. Slightly embarrassing moment for me.
Bet. That one's already won awards,
Well, yeah, it was a thing. Yeah. So for me to criticize it was, seriously, my boss was like, oh, God, you're an idiot.
That's pretty great. I'm going to check the time.
Okay.
So what time is it, Bill?
It's 35 past almost.
All right. So we'll do about 10 more minutes. Guys, if you got any questions you really want to answer, go ahead and just let us know. I'll keep picking Chris's brain for a little bit. Then you have a question?
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure.
So how well did you know you did work with Mickey Gregory?
Mickey Gregory.
Trumpet player for Arkansan.
Never met him.
Yeah. So
Did he have a horn section on his? He would be on the road.
When I toured with him, we did everything by synthesizer. Yeah,
so that would have been earlier before Chris's time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played on all those.
Yeah. No, we had
70s, right?
Actually, he's been to Little Rock a couple of times. He played 109.
Yeah, cool.
Back in the summer.
I wish we would have had a horn section.
Oh, you did have one.
No, I wish we would have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we had, depending on the tour, we had 3 to 4 synth players that did emulation. So.
It's a little more
But would I rather have had
real horns?
real horns? Yeah, but not how it went. I'm sorry? Total 6 years. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, Concord, label out of Los Angeles, a jazz label out of Los Angeles, had bought out Stax. But they bought him for his back catalog. Yeah. They teased him with, we were going to do an album, and I was supposed to be producer out in Los Angeles on it, but unfortunately he had a stroke and passed. Same weekend.
Oh, wow,
weekend.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, me and my girlfriend were just chilling on a Sunday afternoon, and both phones started blowing up. It was sudden. He was on his treadmill in his gym at his house. Unfortunately, part of the Scientology thing is you don't take medications. So, 65. So yeah, he was just working out on his treadmill and had a major stroke. Yeah, I think he kind of wanted out of it, but he didn't really have a choice. Yeah, his wife, Ajula, widow, Ajula. She's from Ghana.
That's fine. If you're okay.
Yeah.
So that happened, and you've done some other things. But...
Yeah, I went back and lived in Haiti again. Like I said, I ran a school, taught journalism, and I mean, I do a project here and there. For some reason, people like to do photography mostly now.
But you are still available for audio production if somebody wants to have.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a recording studio, but I have a production. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Peel. Lived there. The first year I lived, Dr. Gee. Yeah. Yep. So you know Caleb and Debbie Lucian? Okay. Okay. I mean, it's then you know it's a rough country. Yeah. I did what I could. Yeah. The book cars.
Sure.
Yep.
Rayanne?
You obviously have a heart for Haiti. You keep talking about, I'm sorry you went there and that kind of thing. What makes you?
It's easy to make a difference. Well,
Right.
but you can't make a difference.
Do you have a question in the back? No, when you look at me, I'm gonna think that you have one, whether you think,
And y'all can ask me anything.
this is your chance, guys. I mean, follow-ups about.
Will you go back?
Ooh.
Maybe because he mentioned
if
it
it
a
were
couple
the-
weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was supposed to take a vacation in January to the Dominican Republic, and I figured while I'm on the island, why not skip over and do some work? And then I thought, I'm too old for this travel.
That's a long walk.
It is, and you get sick, very sick.
Just standardly, I carry a towel on my belt and a liter of rehydration.
I figured that's either going to save me or somebody else.
Where do you live now?
North Little Rock. Yeah, Park Hill. I haven't been there either.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good to hear too. Yeah. Another place that is definitely worth a visit is the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. Yeah. But it's a real eye opener.
Right up the hill, a couple of years back, the blue sky.
We need a road trip to Memphis, though. There you go.
I'm not going.
I'm not gonna. Chris gonna stay here. That's all right.
Y'all have fun with that.
Sure, we will. It is.
But you don't want to live there.
I haven't been there in 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, guys, we're about out of time here. I want to thank you, Chris, man. I appreciate that
Sure.
for sharing with the stories with us. And thank all of you for coming out.